Welcome to this tutorial in Illustrator, where I show a couple more tools and features of Illustrator, which are really powerful when we're doing graphical design. So the first one I'd like to show you is how to repeat in a grid. So I'm just going to keep a circle. Now you can see that my circle has got an outline of blue, and the outline is what we call stroke, and then we have the fill. And I'm just going to swap those around. So I now have my fill as blue. I've got my blue circle. I want to repeat this in a grid formation. So I can go Object, Repeat, Grid. Now on the side here, we have lots of different grid options, So I can change how far apart each of the repeat is, how close they are by just adjusting this. So I'm going to keep it consistent. Let's go 2 millimeters by 2 millimeters. I can change my grid type, so whether I brick by row, brick by column, or just keep it in a grid. And I can change how many of these I want. It will go forever. So I only want a nice little section, maybe 5 by 5. There we go. Nice and quick. And we have our grid. Next thing I'd like to show you is creating a shape and then slicing it. And we have two different slice options, using scissors or the knife. So again, I'm going to start with my first circle, just for the sake of it. Under the Erase tool, if I right click, I get two options, scissors and knife. I'm going to start with the scissors. Now scissors allows us to cut anywhere that there is an anchor point. So I'm going to click on this point and this point. And if I use my direct selection tool, my main selection tool, you can see that I've now sliced it perfectly across the center based off those two anchor points. Again, start with another circle. This time I'm going to use the knife. So right click, knife. Now this allows us to cut through a shape using a non-uniformed manner. So you can see I am going to drag this through, and I'm just going to make a nice little swell. And again, I've sliced it, and I can move apart that section. Now moving on to the pathfinder tools. So if I just create a circle, and then maybe I create a rectangle over the top, and I only want this side of the circle to remain. If I select both, I can actually cut that shape based off the pathfinder tool using the minus front. Okay, so it has created a cut right on top of where my other feature was. Because this was on top of this feature, it has cut it directly through that line. Okay. Now, say I don't want to cut it at all, but actually I want to join these two to create this shape. Select both. And I can use the Unite tool under the Pathfinder section. And there, instead of having two separate shapes, we now have one united shape. Move this here, and I'm going to cut that one again. So we've got all the options there for us. All right. The next pathfinder one, if I hover over it, is the intersect. So it will keep just the part that intersects. So if I come back, you can see that this section here is the overlapping section, and so it has just left that section remaining. And the last tool in this section is the exclude. So this does the opposite of the intersect. So where it intersects, it has removed it. So you can see we can create some interesting patterns and different shapes through the Pathfinder tool. The next feature I want to show you is a shape builder tool. So I'm going to use it to create a cloud. I'm just going to move my sample one over a little bit. Now I created this cloud by making a series of circles. So I'm just making sure that all of these circles overlap. I'm going to try and make a bit of a cloud shape. Excellent. Now if I select all of these, and on the left hand side there is a tool called Shape Builder. Now if I just leave this like this, you can see that you can select all of the shapes and it will merge them into one. So here we go. Oops, missed a little bit. Just going to zoom in so I can get in here a bit more. There we go. Perfect. Zooming back out, you can see that now that has merged into one shape, and I have some really unique, a unique looking cloud. So again, I can scale accordingly. If I hold Alt, I can make a direct duplicate of it. Coming on the outside, I can maybe rotate it if I want to, etc. The last one I'd like to show you is Command or Control D. Now it is a duplicating tool. So say that I'm just going to delete these for now because I use the duplicating tool to create lots of them. So say I've got a line and I want to create a whole series of the same line over and over again. Rather than doing copy and pasting and moving and adjusting, what I can do is I can hold Alt, create a direct duplicate, place it wherever I want to, and then if I do Control or Command D, it'll duplicate that as many times as I'd like to. So you can see it's kept it consistent the whole way along. Now likewise, if I want to, say, not have them all uniform, but have them stepping down in a manner, and I did Control D again, oops, that didn't work for me. Let's try it again. Hold Alt, go down, Command D. It's not working. Control D. It's not working for me now. There we go. It'll keep the exact adjustment that I made and duplicate it. You can see that it's kept the exact same distances all the way down as I have created it. There we go. A couple of extra tools for you in Illustrator. Hopefully you can play around with them.